Yeah, hey, Barca Volume, you got a background sound. I can't lie. But guys, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's another Barca Talk Tuesdays. And guys, I'm here with my guy, Barca Volume, because we've got a lot of things to talk about. Y'all already know FC Barcelona in the transfer window. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Nico Williams, the developments. There is a lot of developments, and not just that. Joan Garcia, it looks like he's finally going to come. And we're going to talk a little bit about Rashford and also Perisic. But guys, I'm with Barca Volume. Barca Volume, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing amazing, man. There's so much news to talk about. There's the Nico Williams saga. There's the Joan Garcia. It's already in Barcelona. There's so much
Yeah,
exciting stuff to talk
crazy,
about. Hey,
crazy.
and if you want to just have fun with it, you can talk about Rafinha for 160 mil.
Yeah, no, real talk. But yo, listen, guys, before we get straight into it, right? Because there is a lot to talk about with FC Barcelona right now. I can't lie. Jan Laporta, Deco, the Barca fans, at least this summer window, it looks very, very interesting and promising what I am seeing so far. But guys, in the chat, get in the chat. Do not be shy. I will be reading the chat from time to time, probably every 3-4 minutes in between topics. And also, please smash the likes, guys. Smash the likes helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. And also, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Barca Reacts, the channel, and also Barca Volume. I'm gonna put his title in the description. But listen, let's actually start off with not Nico Williams. We'll build up, you know what I'm saying? But big up to chat. Let's start off with Jan Garcia because it looks like Barcelona, right? It felt like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, that every single time they say Jan Garcia to Barcelona is imminent. It's gonna happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen tomorrow. It's gonna happen this week. And then I'm not gonna lie, it feels like it's been 2 weeks now, and Jan Garcia, they keep delaying the transfer, but apparently tomorrow will actually be the day, hopefully. Watch it be Thursday, just because I said that. But Jan Garcia is imminent to Barcelona. And what is your reaction, Barca Volume? What are you saying about it?
Dude, I know what you're saying. I hear it. It's so hilarious, right? Like with Barcelona, we don't know what tomorrow is anymore because they keep saying tomorrow's the day, tomorrow's the day. But then it was like Friday, they're supposed to deposit the check, and then like by the time the league recognizes it and everything. But now apparently that it's a done deal. The only thing that's holding it back is just the fact that John Garcia wants to take his time. He wants to figure out what he wants to say to the fans. He wants to figure out what the message is going to be. And right now, it's only coming down to Barcelona paying respect to John Garcia because the league has already given the okay. Barcelona, John Garcia, it's already a done deal. So there's no panicking. There's nothing to worry about here. It just right now, if you don't know it, John Garcia came back from 2 weeks
Yeah,
vacation on Monday. So that's another topic as to why he hasn't addressed the fans, he hasn't addressed Espanol, he hasn't addressed anything to do with the contract. It's just. But I saw the video from Gigantes that John Garcia was already in Barcelona getting ready to take care of business.
yeah. But I hope you guys saw this by Fabrizio Romano. He posted it out legit. And he said Jan Garcia will be a Barcelona player in the next hours with formal steps. It's all done. And then here we go, confirmed last week. And listen, it looks like Jan Garcia, and let me scroll up because I got another one. He was seen at the Barcelona offices today. He was legitimately in Barcelona. He landed after his vacations. And it looks like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks like he's imminent. It looks like, I hope tomorrow will be the day. I really hope, because I'm tired of making videos of Jan Garcia, or live streams. Jan Garcia, he's gonna come tomorrow. He's gonna come next week, because that's what all the reports, reliable journalists, have been saying. But it looks like it's finally gonna happen. It looks like Jan Garcia will finally be announced tomorrow as the Barcelona goalkeeper from all the socials, X, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you use. Barcelona should be right announcing Jan Garcia, and I can't wait. I just want to see him holding up the jersey, signing the little contract. I need to see it, right? Because, bro, let's be real. Let's speak about Jan Garcia just as a player, because you already know my thoughts. I wanted this transfer before there was even reports. I was kind of, in a way, somewhat manifesting this transfer. I was like, yo, I don't care if I don't see no rumors. This is exactly the player that we need. And you know what? That's why I'm so happy. Because the player that we needed, when there was no rumors about it, bro, 2 weeks later, we're interested, and another 2 weeks later, we signed the player. So I'm listen. When it comes to Jan Garcia, I'm over the moon. But what are you saying about Jan Garcia as a player?
Dude, it's so hilarious that you said that because it's just for the longest time. It just feels like fans have always dreamed of, getting this player, getting that player, getting the other player. And we never get that, dude. We never have enough money to either pay for that player or to even do anything. And the fact that we got, dude, the fans are literally manifesting Nico Williams and Joan Garcia because from the end of the season, we all knew it was all said and done. We were all done with Ter Stegen. We're all done with, whoever we could have right now. We just wishing to have Joan Garcia. And why isn't Barcelona going after Joan Garcia? Why isn't Joan Garcia the guy to go to? And guys, here we are. Like Barcelona, the Deco is doing it. And I know Omar BYT has his thoughts on Deco, and I have my thoughts on Deco. I actually side with Deco. I am giving Deco a ton of credit because everything that we're waiting for, he's doing it.
To be fair, that is debatable. I will say, because I will say this. It was a release clause. Like, it was a release clause. It's not like he had to negotiate with Espanyol, but I will say Deco, this window, has been better than previous windows. Last summer, you need to remember, he brought us legitimately Dani Olmo and nobody else. He brought us Dani Olmo and a bag of chips. We had nothing else, bro. Like, he legitimately only brought Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. So that was concerning. And then the one player that they bought, brother, the one player that we got he wasn't even available for like the first 2 or 3 games until he debuted against Rayo Vallecano. So I understand the frustration. And I'm not gonna lie, I was Deco out, but if he has a stellar window, I can come back. Like, I can come back to it. I don't really mind it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, why are you saying Deco's the guy then?
I just think that he deserves a little bit more credit than he's getting, because he could have said, we're sticking with 3 goalkeepers. We're not doing it. He could have vetoed Hansi Flick at the end of the day. He could have said, you know what, 25 mil, the whole release clause, we're not paying it, and he did. So at the end of the day, I am giving him credit for that. I'm also giving him credit the fact that all the fans, it looks to me that he wants Luis Diaz. And all the fans and everybody, and including Flick, are saying, I want Nico Williams. And now here we are. Laporta has given the okay to go after Nico Williams. And apparently between both parties, agreement has already been set. 12 million is that number. I think it's about 7 net, and it's about 12 when it's all said and done gross. So at the end of the day, even if the story is true that Barcelona cannot go after more signings after this, I'm totally okay. That's still, to me, in my books, a 9 out of 10 when it comes to signings for next season. Once you're having the likes of Joan Garcia on that defense, and you can have somebody like Nico Williams open up a whole Pandora's box of depth that it's insane. God forbid last season if Lamine Yamal had a flu, because we just didn't have anything that we can do.
Oh my God, we would have been dusted. If Lamine Yamal just had a cold, we would have been cooked, because y'all remember the end of 2024, we legitimately could not buy a win. We had legitimately Leganes form. We had relegation form. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if Lamine Yamal even gets injured this year, we could be in trouble, but not as much as if it happened legit last year, which is, the season that we just concluded. But I will say, I do want to move on, guys, and I understand a bunch of people, right, have their thoughts on Deco, right, as the worst. Or listen, everybody might be reactionary now. I don't know. I'm in the middle with that. I can't lie. I need to see more. Mm-hmm. But listen, what I do gotta say, everybody wants to talk about Nico. I'm gonna talk about one player that might leave before we talk about Nico Williams. And NJ, I agree. I think it was bound to happen. I think Nico Williams come to Barca was bound to happen. We've seen in the past, right? Griezmann. Right? A player that rejected Barcelona. He legitimately rejected FC Barcelona, right? Made an announcement. And then the year later, he comes. We have seen it in the past. But before we get on to Nico Williams, right? Guys, I do want to talk about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, because, the reports are somewhat heating up. The links, I'm seeing more links to Galatasaray mainly. But right? Alfred Martinez, he came out and he said the relationship between Hansi Flick and Ter Stegen is cold. And not just that, there was another report that basically said it was sport, to be fair, which is very hit or miss. But They have said Galatasaray has taken significant steps to approach Marc-Andre Ter Stegen from Barca. And hey, I'm not going to lie. Listen, this is multiple reports that are saying Ter Stegen to Galatasaray is a real thing. What are you saying about this transfer potentially could happen? We might not get a fee, but just the possibility of Ter Stegen leaving Barcelona. What are you saying about it, man?
Dude, I know that Barcelona is forcing him out, and he's basically forcing his way in. But honestly, the more I think about it, the more I feel like it's a great signing. It's a great destination for Ter Stegen, because Galatasaray is not only a top club in Turkey, but they're also going to be in the UEFA Champions League. So at the end of the day, he's going to be in a top competitive competition. He wants to play 100% of the games for any team that he plays on, because he wants to be ready for that World Cup next year. So there's no better place for him to go. And I know that he's forcing his way into Barca, which is ridiculous, to be honest with you. You don't want to get into a war between a team that wants to get rid of you and that team that you want to play for. At the end of the day, you just got to let it go, bro. That's what I'm saying.
You know what is my thoughts on it? I was saying, listen, I don't care about Ter Stegen. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really not. Some people call him a legend. I'm borderline with that. But what I do say is Ter Stegen must leave the football club. I've been legitimately saying this for years, right? Before I had a YouTube channel, right? Before I had this BarcaReacts channel, I legitimately was saying Ter Stegen. Probably ever since Courtois won Real Madrid that UCL, I was like, I got a little bit jealous. I can't lie. I was like, how come Ter Stegen can't win us a UCL by himself, right? And just the fact that we're a top 5 club and we don't have a top 5 goalie, in my opinion, we do not have a top 25 goalie. So how could a top 5 club not have a top 25 goalie? We wouldn't be cool with this in any other position. Think about it, Barca volume. We wouldn't be cool with that as a striker, right? Because Lewandowski, hate him, love him. He's at worst top 7, let's just say. In my opinion, the wingers, same situation. The fullbacks, midfield. Ter Stegen is not a top 20 goalkeeper, and he's arguably on a top 3 club, right? So why is he here? That's what I've been saying, and I think it's overdue. I think it should have happened 2 years ago at a minimum, right? Especially last summer. But I think that the time is right. The board has finally listened up to the fans' complaint, and I'm not fully agreeing with the hashtag Ter Stegen out movement, but I will say, the board did not listen to the fans, and it had to happen because the board kind of ignoring it, kept putting it under the carpet, right? And eventually the fans had enough. So listen, whether I agree or disagree with it, it's irrelevant. I think Ter Stegen still has to. That the bottom line is he still has to leave the football club. And in the chat, do you guys agree with that statement? Because in my opinion, I don't know how you can defend him. It's not like Araujo, right, who's had like a bad year and a half. It's not even like other players, right? Ter Stegen has to leave. He has an ego too. I've been saying he wants to be the number 1. He wants to compete. And we have a young goalkeeper who's going to need to settle in, adapt. There's a big club pressure. Why would you keep Ter Stegen? It doesn't make sense for me, legitimately. But on it.
No, yeah. So honestly, like he wanted to say that he wanted to fight for the number 1 spot, the roster spot. He wanted to compete with Joan Garcia, which to me doesn't make any sense. Why would Barcelona pay 25 million euros for a guy who's going to fight for his number 1 starting spot? This is one of the reasons why when it was the first reports that the Barcelona wanted to loan him out, this is why it didn't make sense to me, because I was like, why are you going to pay that much money for a player you're going to just give it to another team? That's just ridiculous to me. So at the end of the day, everything lined up. It was the stories changed, and Joan Garcia is going to be the starting. Sorry, my camera just kind of went weird. Cool. Let me fix that real quick.
Hey, no problem, bro. But to be honest, if I'm going to continue with it, guys, remember to smash up the likes and subscribe to the channel. Get in the chat. Do not be shy. Let me know your thoughts, because we're going to be talking about more interesting topics very, very soon. But I do want to say, Ter Stegen needs to leave, bro. If we're being real, Wojciech Szczesny came into the football club, and there was a lot of fans that had optimism that, we don't have Ter Stegen, we can win the UCL. That should never happen. I'm not gonna lie. You know how annoying that is? That's unacceptable. Just as a neutral fan, that can't happen. If you're number 1 and there's a lot of fans that think that way, it can't happen. Ter Stegen, even before his injury, was getting legitimately his performance was decreasing. And now I'm looking at a guy who's well over 30. His performance is decreasing and he's getting injury prone. Why would you keep it? Doesn't even make sense. You know what it is? And then Deco, I ain't gonna lie, if Deco had Joan Garcia on loan, I would be 100% Deco out. Let me tell you that. There's gonna be I might have to fly over to Barcelona because why would you have a goalkeeper who I think is the top 3 goalkeeper in Spain by default, right? Joan Garcia. And then you're going to have Ter Stegen, a guy who's past his best right now, playing over him. I thought it was I thought it was a joke. But listen, I mean, it is what it is. But what is your thoughts, like final thoughts on Ter Stegen before?
No, yeah. So what I was going to finish saying is that honestly, as far as Ter Stegen, like he was trying to push this narrative that he was going to keep fighting for Barca. He wants to play for Barca. I think what he wants to do is he wants to get the most money from Barcelona, and at the end of the day, he knows that he needs to go to Galatasaray. Nobody's going to offer him a project like that because that's the team that he can go and just start. And then he wants to get us because he has the starting spot for the national team already.
Yeah, so he starts for Germany.
Yeah, so he starts for Germany right now. Neuer is no longer there. So he wants to, at the end of the day, just play for a good club, and he has to just have to leave, bro. Honestly, Barca, and it's one thing that I do want to say to Barca fans, because this is important. Ter Stegen, it's not a bad player, okay? Ter Stegen still has really good reflexes. He can still start for a national team such as Germany, but that doesn't mean that he has to play for Barcelona. His time with Barcelona, it's done. It's okay for Barcelona to let a competent player leave the club. It's okay, but it doesn't mean let's not send him out of this club like he's a bum. Like let's just give him credit. Let's give him his flowers. He did a lot for Barcelona. And at the end of the day, it's okay that he wants to go start for another club. It's okay for Barcelona to just want to move on from him. And at the end of the day, he has to just take whatever Galatasaray is offering, because Barcelona, he's just going to be on the bench with a player like Joan Garcia.
I'm going to be honest, Barca volume, I was very nice to Ter Stegen. I felt like legit, my what's it called? Like, I wouldn't say hate, but my criticism for Ter Stegen, it doesn't even come from a bad place. He used to be one of my favorite players at Barcelona, but the thing is, he didn't in La Liga. He was exceptional in the past, but the thing is, in the UCL, when I'm seeing Thibaut Courtois legitimately win Real Madrid, let's be real, he won them the 2021 UCL with Benzema. But the thing is, Ter Stegen against Roma, Liverpool, right? You have Bayern Munich. I don't blame him for that one. That's a lot of shots taken on him. But Liverpool, Roma, right? PSG, right? I really feel like there's a lot of times that he didn't bail us out. And even though you don't call it disaster class, maybe, but I would just say he didn't just take the game by the scruff of the neck. That's, in my opinion, why he should go. And I don't think he's I don't think he's a top 5 goalie, and he's at a top 5 club. And Barcelona, in every other position, we're moving like a serious club right now. But in goalkeeper, we have to do the same. And at Galatasaray, I think he still starts for Germany. So I don't know if he's going to still stall it, but we will see. I mean, let me get to the chat real quick before we move on to the hot topic of Nico Williams. Guys, what are you guys saying about Nico Williams? Because we will be talking about that legit right now. But big up Atletica. Ter Stegen needs to leave. He didn't save us in crucial moments, mostly in the Europa League against United, against Roma, Liverpool. I agree, bro. I absolutely agree. Yeah, so he should be gone. I absolutely agree with the chat for the most part. And once again, it's not like I hate Ter Stegen. I wasn't one to post the hashtag Ter Stegen out, but I understand. I understand why the fans did it, because it felt like Jan Laporta and Deco just kept letting it slide year after year, and we needed a goalkeeper. That's why it happened. We should have, definitely. But I'm not going to lie, guys, right? Let's move on. Let's move on to what's it called? Nico Williams, because Barca volume. Can you believe this, right? Apparently, right? Just a couple of days ago, and Nico Williams was not the priority, guys, just a week ago. But guess what? Guess what now? Fernando Polo broke the news a couple days ago, and I want to get your reaction on it because I haven't had you on for a while. So basically, he said the club sources have confirmed that Nico Williams has become the club's priority, right? Priority in all caps, target for the winger role, overtaking Luis Diaz at FC Barcelona. And listen, it's not just that, guys. It's really not. But listen, Nico Williams is a top player. Listen, I don't think he's world class. I won't say that yet. But this guy, In the last 2 seasons, Lamine Yamal has had the most successful dribbles. Guess who's second? It's not Vinicius Jr., it's not Rodrigo, it's not Mbappe, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
Bellingham, it's Nico Williams. And in my opinion, having both of these two guys on the flanks is serious. Those are two wingers that we're talking about with beating your man. How excited are you for Nico Williams coming to Barcelona, man? Tell me.
Oh my God, man. I am so super excited for so many reasons. And that is a great point that you just brought up. That stat, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, that combo, it's so unstoppable. It's so crazy to me. That's why,
Facts,
Spain has been
facts.
able to dominate Europe for so long. Not only because it had the likes of Pedri, Subamendi, players like that could dominate the ball, but just having that combo with Lamine and Nico Williams it's insane, man. Like I can't believe it, and that is just one little wrinkle because there's other dominoes that are also gonna fall. Because as far as like let's say that Lamine Yamal needs to rest for a couple games, we can put Rafinha on the right, which is his natural spot, and we can have Nico Williams on the left. And then Lewandowski. So those are just a few perks that come with Nico Williams. Now, another thing that I'm so excited about is that having a guy like Nico Williams on the left, the natural wing position, which Barcelona really hasn't had someone on that natural spot since 2015 Neymar. That's insane to me. Ever since Neymar left, we were never
Yo,
able to
that's
replace
debatable.
him.
Who's been actually, yo, chat, help me out. Hey, who's been our left wingers ever since Neymar's left the club? Like,
A natural left winger. We just didn't have one,
I mean, we
except
had
for
Coutinho, but he wasn't natural. I hear it.
it's not a
Yeah.
left winger. So
Well, he's not
it's
a left winger, yeah.
dude, it's crazy that Barca hasn't had anybody on the left wing since Neymar. So this is
Whoa,
actually the
hold up.
first time, dude. What? Who? There's
Ansu
no.
Fati, but Ansu Fati got injured. That's the only other guy. Ansu Fati is the only guy that I could say, yo, he was a proper left winger, but he did get injured. So I know what you mean. I
Now,
kind of know what you mean.
now, now, let's think of this. Now it's the combo with Balde and Nico. Remember, we have Lamine Yamal and Conde on the right, dude. Now we have Balde and we have Nico, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Like that's a crazy combo to me. It's not. I would say probably that combo. It's gonna be better than Dewey and Nuno Mendes. So at the end of the day, I think that that's a great step into the right direction, competing against the best team right now, which is PSG. I believe PSG right now, hands down, has to be the better team because they won the
Yeah,
treble.
yeah.
They
Just give
won
him
the
the respect.
Champions League, hands down, bro. Like, and the fact that we can compete against them, Nico Williams, Balde, Lamine Yamal, Kunde, that's insane on the
Nah,
flanks, dude. I
bro.
cannot lie, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. This comment is legit. Him being a top dribbler is what we need. That is true because, bro, you know how much easier, guys. Anybody who's played football, when you're a midfielder and you have space, brother. Nico Williams. People are not realizing the space for Olmo, Fermin, Pedri, even
Mhm.
Lewandowski. These guys and Rafinha. Oh my God, Rafinha might feast because of how much space. Rafinha is a guy that the more space you give him, the better he's going to be, the more efficient he's going to be, the more effective he's going to be. But
Mhm.
when you got Lamine Yamal beating players for fun, legitimately for fun, right? Posting on
Yeah.
Instagram with an ankle breaker, another one, bro. Listen, bro, him and Nico Williams is serious. I can't even lie. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, yo, two threats on both sides. Like, facts, Earl, because I can't lie. I don't know which team who has lockdown fullbacks, even if we played against Paris Saint-Germain, right? And you gave them the respect. Brother, I can see us scoring goals because I don't think fair enough, Nuno Mendes did good on Lamine Yamal. Last time Lamine Yamal did better than Nuno Mendes and when we lost to them in the UCL 2 years ago. But brother, what about Nico Williams on Hakimi, who that guy, he's never in position. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like what we're doing. But, yo, what about Nico Williams, bro? I have a question, though. Nico Williams, Rafinha, Dani Olmo, Pedri, Lamine, who's starting? Like, who's the front three? Actually, the front four, include Lewandowski. Who do you think, and guys in the chat, who do you guys think is our front four because we played the 4-2-3-1? I want to ask you, Barcelona, what are you saying?
Yeah, so in my opinion, what I think that would happen here is like I'm gonna tell you my starting front four, and I think what Hansi Flick is gonna stick to Lewandowski. No ifs and buts about it. As long as Lewandowski is lacing them up, Hansi Flick is gonna start him because it's his guy. They go way back. I don't think that. I know he's going to be a little bit on a short leash, but if it was up to me, okay, so Flick will do Nico on the left. No, I'm sorry. Nico on the left. He will do Rafinha behind Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal. What I would rather do is I would actually place Rafinha as a false 9. Some people have said as a 10. I think as a 10 also works. But in my opinion, what I would do is I would have Nico on the left. I would have Dani Olmo in the middle as a 10. I would have Rafinha as a false 9, and I would have Lamine Yamal on the right. I think that is borderline unstoppable. I think that would be
this
crazy.
guy's doing right here. You
now,
do Nico Olmo, Lamine, Rafinha. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Now, let's be realistic. This is only we can dream of this, because I think Barcelona would have so much speed, would have be so good on the ball, so good on running. And then if we can bring in, it's going to be tough dealing with Lewandowski, because he's going to get he's going to get scores, he's going to get goals, and it's going to make it seem like that's kind of what's working. But I know a lot of people are really sensitive about not starting Lewandowski, but if I don't think Barca will do that. I don't think Hansi Flick would just take Lewandowski out. But I think in the best interest of the team, that's what it would work the best.
Nah, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, bro. I don't know if you've seen Instagram. This guy Lapolga. I don't know if you've seen Lamine Yamal on Instagram, what he's been doing, but I'm not gonna even comment on it, bro. Listen, I was at the gym and I saw what he posted. Yo, I ain't gonna say, hey, no comment, guys. If you want to see, check for yourselves. But what I will say, going back to Nico Williams, right? What I will say, I can't lie, man. When I'm looking at that attack, bro, if we do see this, the Nico, Olmo, Rafinha, Yamal, even insert Fermin Lopez because of all the space Lamine and Nico are gonna generate. Bro, I can see us absolutely cooking. And you know what? People might say, oh, you need a proper striker. First of all, I have two things, okay? Do you guys remember all the games that Lewandowski – I'm not trying to kill Lewandowski. The guy scored over 40 goals. There's going to be some games where having a proper number 9 is going to save us. Like against, for example, like a Getafe where there's kind of scrappy and you need an ugly goal because all the flashy players are going to be neutralized. But what I will say, Lewandowski's still going to score minimum 25 goals. Minimum. I just see that, okay? I'm saying, guys – when we didn't play Lewandowski, do you remember Barca Volume? All the games that we legitimately were slapping teams. I could have remembered multiple. And when I'm saying multiple, not 2, I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 times that we slapped teams when Lewandowski was off the bench. And it was Ferran, it was Dani Olmo, it was Lamine and Rafinha. And I'm telling you right now, Nico, right? If you sub in Nico for Ferran, it is technically a better player. So in my opinion, why can't that happen again? That's my question. I'm telling you, do you remember the games when Ferran was playing over Lewandowski, how fluid it was? Listen, that's all I'm going to say, bro. I think that could cook, bro. I can't even lie.
No, I totally remember that, because I remember going and saying, like, why can't Barcelona go back to the false 9? Because there was 2 times. I don't know if it was 3 or 4, but I know at least 2 times that I remember. One was against Betis that Lewandowski did not play, and Barcelona scored 5 goals. And there was 2 times where Lewandowski didn't play that Barca scored 5. And I think it was actually 3 games. And we were sitting here like saying, like, why can't Barcelona just pull the trigger and do what is right for the club, the best interest of the club, which is that Barca can play better. And I think that just because, like, look, Lewandowski is going to be a year older next season. So I know that he has given us a lot. I have a really soft spot for Lewandowski. He came to this club when we were dead in the water during that when Xavi came in. And I give him credit, but right now, in the best interest of the team, to win everything that we can win. And let's look at PSG, for example.
And bro, it's not just that. Do you remember the Valencia game? Like, we beat them within 3 weeks. We scored 5, and then next time we scored 7. And I think both of them was with Ferran Torres instead of Lewandowski. And I'm not trying to hate on Lewandowski. The guy still had a great season. Lewandowski had a phenomenal season.
Let me ask you something. Do you think Lewandowski starts for PSG?
Oh, no. Luis Enrique, at this stage of his career, Luis Enrique would have had him as like a rotational starter, like a Fermin Lopez. He wouldn't start, but he would start 25 games over the season.
Does he start for Real Madrid?
No, I don't think they would do it.
Does he start for Liverpool?
Maybe that one. That I could see that. I could actually see that one. I think so. Yes, actually. Now that I think
So
about it.
that's my point. Like, I actually don't believe that Lewandowski will start for Liverpool. I believe that Liverpool is just too good right now to have a spot for somebody like Lewandowski. So just those 3 to 4 teams that I'm mentioning, the fact that Barcelona is setting themselves back. I know we all love Lewandowski. I'm the first defender. I'm the first one who has given him his flower, who has said, but I'm a big believer in getting rid of players a year too early rather than a year too late. Because once it's a year too late, and yesterday, Giret, we were talking about Barca, and he brought an interesting point, and he said we could have sold Ansu Fati for a pretty good money 2 to 3 years ago before that injury, and because Barcelona just falls in love with players, they're never able to make any money. And why is that? Because right now we're just in love with Lewandowski and everything that he's done for the club, and we're just
Okay, you know what?
so
I
difficult to pull
understand.
that trigger.
But no, this is the thing though. A Barcelona, that's not just a Lewandowski thing. That's a multiple thing. You could say that with Ansu Fati. You could say that with so many guys in years
Yeah,
past.
that's why
I'm
I
gonna
brought up
like
Ansu Fati. That's why I brought up Ansu Fati,
that's a
because it's not
different
just
problem.
Lewandowski.
That's overall. Barcelona have never been a good selling club. Like that's the thing with us. But I do want to move on back to Nico Williams because you guys see how the tactical adjustments. Y'all see how Nico was. It's not just the signing of Nico. It's how we can rotate. We have options. Hansi Flick has so many cards, legit, in his hand. And legit, he has a plan A, he has a plan B, he has a plan C if Nico Williams comes. A lot of times this season, it felt like we only had a plan A. And sometimes when Olmo and Fermin were fit, we had a plan B. But listen, we have a plan C, we have a plan D. Listen, we have so many top players. I can't even lie. And I'm kind of excited. But I do
One
want to
thing,
show you guys this. Fabrizio Romano basically, hey, he confirmed it. He legitimately said Barca are working on the deal to trigger his 58 million release clause. But I did want to talk about this because I saw a couple of chats, and I'm not going to ignore you guys. Basically, the chances of this deal still happening because of FFP reasons. And did you see what Javier Tebas said? Like,
he
I
always
hope
talks
you.
about Barca, dude. Every
Yeah,
time he
I
can,
know, but
always
he's
talks about
basically
Barca in
said
a negative way.
yeah, but this is the thing though with me. I was always, and you know what it is? It's not even Javier Tebas. Number one, I'm surprised Javier Tebas legitimately went 1 month without mentioning Barcelona. This is a world record, guys. I've never mentioned, bro, during the season, every single win streak, brother, this guy would always say, yo, Dani Olmo, we're going to unregister him. Anytime there was a good moment, he would say something. But right now, I had this question before, and I'm not surprised that Tebas has finally spoken out about Jan Garcia and Nico Williams, but I do want to say, I can't lie. Think about it, Barca volume. We're legitimately we're triggering one release clause in Jan Garcia, then we're gonna trigger another release clause in Nico Williams, and then some fans want to what's it called, Alejandro Grimaldo as well. How can Barcelona afford to trigger 3 release clauses that would be like 100 million right now up front, right now money? You know what I'm saying? Because release clause, you know how they work, right? Basically, you have to pay up front right now. And I think Barcelona is going to be a bit difficult. But what do you see? Do you think Barcelona can still complete this deal of Nico Williams?
Absolutely. So Barcelona can do the Nico Williams deal. The only problem is that's probably all the players that are coming to the club this year, and I believe that that's still a 9 out of 10 transfer window signing
Yeah.
as far as players coming in. Because I don't think that if you ask me how can they do Grimaldo, how can they do Nico, how can they do Joan? Well, it just simple as that. It just you can't. You have to do just two, and just two are totally fine. And why? If Barca, this is where the Lenglet deal comes to fruition, because it had Lenglet not give up his salary, had not been pressured by Atletico Madrid, now would be in a pickle. Right now, if we still had the Lenglet money tied right now, we wouldn't be able to do this. But the fact that we unloaded basically 32 million euros, that's essentially 16, and Nico's going to make 12 of that. So it goes to show you how bad that signing was when Lenglet for 4 years at 16 million euros per season. Bartomeu was just insane right now. Nico Williams is not even getting 15. He's getting 12. And it's a much better player, much more of a difference maker, and they can definitely do this, because that's what I think I said it on the last stream. I can't remember, but The way it works is, let's say that Lenglet was 16 million euros per season. Now you can go out and get a Nico Williams and sign him for 12 million per season for 5 years. So that opened up all the roster numbers for you to be able to pay that player like such as Nico Williams. I think it's no issue. I think it's just going to be a matter of trying, maybe fixing and tweaking a few roster spot. Maybe the sale of Ter Stegen is going to help very, very much. If we sell a player like unloading Ansu Fati is really expensive. That is another number that we can do. I think Barcelona is well within reach of getting this deal done. Absolutely. You guys can't believe anything that you hear if somebody says that.
Yeah, no. This is the thing with me. I think we get Nico Williams, but now I kind of question if we get Grimaldo. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if we get Grimaldo. My feelings about Grimaldo is less. But what I will say is that Nico Williams, I can see us doing it. And let me tell you what, one of the things you said is the Lenglet money. And number two, I'm not going to lie, guys. Sometimes in my life, I think about Barcelona too much. I'm not going to lie. I should even, sometimes when I'm driving, I think about this club, how we're going to afford Nico Williams, because I can't lie. I'm a culé, bro. But what I will say is that I was thinking about it. Barca volume. Think about it. Last year, we were technically in a worse financial position. And on top of that, we were able to trigger Nico Williams' release clause. So when you add 2 and 2 together, when we were worse financially last year and we were able to trigger it, but Nico was hesitant because there wasn't guarantees, why can we not trigger Nico Williams' release clause this year when we're actually stronger financially? So I actually do think this deal is going to happen. Like, guys in the chat that was asking, is this deal going to happen? Listen, I'm not going to say 100%. Listen, I don't want to be held accountable for this. Listen, but I do think
it's gonna happen, bro.
I think it's gonna happen too. I think it's like 85% chance gonna happen. I'm gonna be real.
It's already the first principles, which is the most important, by the way. I don't know if you guys have followed that, but every time you hear that the first initial principles are already in place and that there's an agreement, that is a step. That is a step in the right direction, because once you do that, Nico Williams has agreed to come. And one thing that goes unsaid and unnoticed about Nico this season is, do you think it's a coincidence that Nico wants to play for Barca this season and he didn't really wanted to play for Barca last season? I think not. I think this is a product of Hansi Flick. This is a product of Lamine Yamal going out and balling out and playing like the best player in the world. This is the Messi effect. This is the great product effect. This is the great, per se, you can say maybe this is a great plan that Hansi Flick has right now with Barcelona. All the success that Barcelona had, they're really putting themselves in great positions to compete for every single tournament that they are participating in. So now Nico Williams was looking at Barcelona last season. He give me the most money. He's looking at the Barcelona of this season and he's saying, I want to play for that Barcelona on a team-friendly deal because I am desperate to join in now because I want to play with Lamine Yamal for years to come, and I want to just play for Hansi Flick. So that's one thing that most people don't talk about.
Can I say one thing? You said, why did he reject us? Apparently, last year, there was less guarantees. Our financial situation was very, very weird last year. Remember, Dani Olmo missed, I think, the first La Liga game. He wasn't registered until Rayo Vallecano, right? His debut. But what I will say is that I really, really, really believe that Nico Williams, part of it is because now Barcelona, there was an air of, you don't know what's going to happen at Barcelona under Hansi Flick. Nothing is guaranteed in football. I always say football is the ultimate humbler. Nothing is guaranteed. But now you see Hansi Flick, how good he is as a coach, offensive coach. Nico Williams, now it's not really like there's doubt of Hansi Flick just failing at Barca. Now it feels like if you come to this Barcelona, it's a lot more stable. They have a position for you. The fans want you. Everything adds up. And bro, the guy, have you seen the reports? He wants to take a wage cut. He legit offered himself and a wage cut.
That's what I'm saying.
Barcelona. So now I just think it's the stability, you know what I'm saying, of the football club. Last year, as much as I loved Hansi Flick, there was no guarantee it would work. Hansi Flick, I know we lost the intro in the UCL, but we surpassed all of our expectations. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real, right? I'm going to be honest. Nico Williams now is more guarantee of Barcelona being a good team, and it makes sense now. So But did you see the report? Basically, before we move off Nico, I do want to talk about the guy is basically asking 20 million, right? 20 million euros from every other team, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if it's net or gross, and he's asking just, I think, 12 gross or net, and it's going to actually be 6.5 is the other number. So Nico Williams, it's a significant, legit deduction for only FC Barcelona. What are you saying about that, man?
Yeah, so that's what it goes to what I was saying. So for Bayern Munich, he was asking 20 mil. For any
Yeah,
other club, even Real Madrid, the stories are coming out now that Real Madrid was legitimately interested in Nico Williams, and Nico Williams basically said, "I want to play for Barcelona," and not only want to play for Barcelona, but wants to play for Barcelona at a discount. And not only because he wants to take a pay cut, it's because he understands the situation of the club. He understands, but he likes the Hansi Flick's project. This, like I said, there's two Nico Williams. The Nico Williams of last season, who wanted all the guarantees, wanted all the money. He really thought, was a superstar that Barcelona was going to get desperate for, and it really wasn't like that because Barcelona just went after Olmo instead. Now Nico Williams is like, no, now I can play for this Barca under a much better deal. And if you ask me, it's like this. So I don't understand why there's so much money between the net and the gross, because apparently the Nico Williams is going to be making around 7 million per season net. That's what
yeah,
he's going to
yeah,
go
yeah.
to his bank account. But Barcelona is actually paying 12. So there's another 5. I don't know, some taxes and some
And
leagues,
bro,
and I don't know where
this
that money
is
goes. But
my bad for cutting you off. But this is the thing. I've seen some rumors that Frankie De Jong might legitimately restructure his contract, right? And he's gonna take a wage cut too, like this
yeah,
brother D'Angelo said. And not only that, apparently Robert Lewandowski, who his wage, by the way, is, I ain't gonna lie, his wages are a nightmare. Lewandowski's wages are ridiculous. For a guy at the end of the season, I already have a hot take on Lewandowski. I think Ferran Torres will be starting for the football club if we're in a UCL final or UCL semi. I think that Lewandowski will have a strong first half, and in the second half, it's not his fault, bro. He's going to be like a Luke de Jong. That's what my prediction is for him. But listen, apparently if he deducts his contract, right, I do think Nico Williams, it makes sense. I think everybody, there's going to be a place, like Joan Laporta, I always say, Joan Laporta is legitimately, he always finds a way. Joan Laporta, I was hearing Tebas every week be screaming to the media, telling you there's no chance Dani Olmo gets registered. Twice unregistered. And guess what? Down Laporta, this guy has connections. He's experienced, and this guy, he always finds a way. But I do want to say before we continue, right? Barca Times, legitimately 3 minutes ago, guys, apparently Mate Moreto said that there's going to be no issues between Nico Williams and Barcelona. Everything has been agreed upon for some time. So I'm not going to lie. Listen, I do think, I'm not going to lie, it kind of increased. Yo, guys, I ain't going to lie. I said 85% this is going to happen. I think it's probably at 90 now. I really believe that.
It's going to happen, though. At this point, I have no doubt in my mind because, see, Barcelona was trying to get Luis Diaz, and all of a sudden, Nico Williams moved everything around, sent the agent, and the talks are advancing fairly quickly. And I think July 1st is when the window opens. I think by July 1st, Nico Williams will be a Barcelona player, dude. I am so happy. I am so stoked. There's so much, dude. The combo, playing up against all these teams that always play us with the low block, having two wingers like that, it's insane. And you know what? The first thing that comes to mind is be able to compete with a team like PSG with wingers like Dembele, Dewey, Kvaratskhelia, and now we can throw Lamine and we can throw Nico Williams. That's insane that we can do that. And quite frankly, even if Dani Olmo, people keep saying that this is not going to work, this is a way. A Madrid fan was trying to convince me that this was a wasteful, foolish signing because that means if you put in Rafinha, you're wasting Dani Olmo, and if you put in Nico Williams, you're wasting Rafinha. But dude, Rafinha is much more consistent than Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo, it's very clinical. It's a great player. but
He's a good
when he
player.
wants to play, sometimes he's injured, sometimes he's just not on his game.
Sometimes
And
you don't see him.
Rafinha is just more consistent, dude. If we can have Rafinha as a number 10, but not a typical number 10, you can put him like right behind Lewandowski. If you don't want to bench Lewandowski, I would bench Lewandowski. But I'm just thinking in terms of the best team out there is PSG, and the best thing that Barca can do is just have Rafinha, Olmo, Nico, and Lamine Yamal.
Bro, we've got
That would be
options,
just the
bro.
best thing you can do, man.
No, we got options. I can't lie. But I do want to move off Nico Williams because we still got a lot of things to talk about, right? And I do want to talk about these two wingers, not really for too long, because I do want to. The last topic will actually be sales, but I do want to talk about two players that, and it's not Luis Diaz, two guys that really want to come to Barcelona. And it's not just Marcus Rashford, but also Ivan Perisic. But what are you saying about Marcus Rashford? Apparently, it came out just 2 days ago that once again, Rashford is insistent on Barcelona. The guy wants Barca. Roger Torello. It's been every journalist, top ones too. Tony Marty, Fernando Polo, Fabrizio Romano. Multiple times. Rashford wants Barca. Rashford wants Barca. That's all we've been hearing. But my question to Rashford and even like Deco and Jan Laporta is that, is it possible, right? And this is just a hypothetical in the chat. Could we get Nico Williams and maybe somehow, some way, can Jan Laporta somehow find a way to loan Rashford in? And by the way, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see Barcelona having the wages unless the United cover everything. But what are you saying about Marcus Rashford? Do you think a loan is still possible in any way?
Well, the only way I see this happening is if Nico Williams isn't coming. So if Nico Williams comes out, like I said, Barcelona just financially, they're not going to be able to bring more players. This is one of the reasons why I have no doubt that Barca can sign Nico. They can register Nico without a problem. But when it comes to more players, even somebody cheap like Grimaldo, for example, it's going to be really tough for Barca to be able to do that. And I think it was one of the reasons why I have read some story about Joan Laporta not wanting Nico Williams because of his release clause would basically mean that the club cannot sign any more players. Now, if we just want to have fun with the topic and say, what about Rashford to Barca? What I would say is like it does work, but as a rotational player, because he's inconsistent, he is injury prone. You cannot make changes. As you can see, we are going to be making changes for a player like Nico Williams, who's 22, turning 23, but that's a young player that will play at the left wing position for the next 4 to 5 years. You can restructure your team, but you cannot restructure your team for a much older player who is inconsistent, who you don't know what you're getting. This is why I love going for Nico Williams, because with Nico Williams, we know he's not going to score a lot of goals. Lamine Yamal didn't have to score a lot of goals this season to make a difference. We all know that. We're not stat merchants here. Like we're not Madridistas that are just, they love talking about numbers.
Bro.
Yeah. Because they see Kylian Mbappe say, oh, well, he's the golden boot, and like, dude, he scored.
Real quick,
how many penalties did he score? And at the end of the day, you're just looking at 40 number.
Not even that. It's not like Kylian Mbappe was even scoring penalties because he's earning them. It's pity penalties, bro. It's actually pity penalties. Didn't they say Vinicius was going to be the penalty taker? But guess what? Mbappe couldn't find the back of the net to save his life in legitimately the first third of the season. Yeah. So guess what? Pity penalties legit carried him for the first half of the season. But I mean, he still had a good season.
Give him credit. He earned it. He got the golden boot by like 1 or 2 goals or whatever. Like he was fighting with points with Jokeres or whatever. That's fine. Yeah, dude, more power to you. But it doesn't mean that it's all. My point is not that I'm taking credit from him for the season that he had. I think he's a fantastic player. But my point is, you don't have to score 40 goals to make an impact on the field. Look at Lamine Yamal, what he's able to do without getting into like 45, 50 GAs. That's the same thing with Nico on the left, having just that threat and just getting all this assists, and sometimes not even the assist, but if you get the pre-assist, for lack of a better word, that's all you got to do. That's all you need. As long as you create the goal, that's all you need.
That's all we need. And let's be honest. How many times did Lamine Yamal get the pre-assist? I think that he might. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that brother at least had 15 pre-assists this season. Where I see he legitimately starts the dominoes falling, and then we
Mhm.
capitalize. Lamine Yamal. This is why I say Lamine Yamal's game is way above stats. The only thing you can criticize him for is his somewhat inconsistent finishing. That's it. Everything else
Mhm.
about his game is phenomenal. I can't even lie to you guys. But guys, I do want to move on to the other winger that we're going to talk about. And big up to the chat. Big up to my guy, Dally, bro. Listen, Yamal, hey, yo, you know what, guys? I'll just say it. You know why people are talking about Lamine Yamal on Instagram? Because this guy, Barcelona, I don't know if you've seen it, but the guy is, he's, bro,
Dude, Dali is the guy that told me on Twitter
30
that
year old, bro. 30 year
he's the
old, bro.
one, dude. He's the one that told me on Twitter that the Nico Williams signing was a waste, and that no, and that if he wasn't the waste, it was going to be Dani Olmo who was going to be the waste. So kudos to you, man. All fun and games. It's
And
nice
we'll
talking
see.
to
We'll
you on
see.
Twitter.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But Lamine Yamal, I ain't gonna lie. That brother needs to chill out, bro. I don't know what he's been on. I don't know if he's really trying to copy Neymar. He's having way too much fun. Listen, I'm not gonna
Bro,
lie.
one thing that I do have to say though, like that, it's a double standard too now. Like, why would we be saying if it was a guy, a football player with a 17-year-old girl out there?
Okay, yeah.
That's
It is a
insane.
double standard. I ain't gonna lie. It is a double standard. But I'm not really gonna talk about it because, guys, listen. At the end of the day, it's a Barca channel. I mean, if I get big, I can stream about anything one day, hopefully. But I do want to move on and talk about Ivan Perisic because I really believe this, guys. I think that Rashford, if Nico comes, I think it's off the table. I don't think that we're gonna somewhat find a way to, finesse or just Laporta, some way find a way to register, not just Nico Williams and Marcus Rashford. But I do think that Ivan Perisic can come. I do think because he's going to offer for free. He's going to be playing for basically free also. And a bunch of reporters have said that Ivan Perisic to Barcelona is real. Hansi Flick is interested, and the player would like to join FC Barcelona. So what are you saying, Barca Volume? What are you saying about Ivan Perisic? Do you see it happening, and do you like the player? Let's post the questions.
Yeah, honestly, I like the player. I think he's fantastic. He takes care of his body. He can still run. He got incredible numbers last season, even for his
Yeah,
age. He still looks like he's got it. I do think that he can come into this Barcelona team and contribute. The only issue here is going to be the salary because depends on the price. Because Barcelona with Nico Williams is going to be basically tied. Their hands are going to be tied really, really, and they're not going to be able to sign anybody else. So right now, I only see Perisic working out, kind of like the same thing I was saying about Rashford. Because, like I said, this is going to be a theme for all these players. If Barcelona goes after Nico, they basically already spent their money and most of their money and most of their cups paid for the fair play. So I don't know how many players, but I do see Perisic as long as it's not super expensive. If it makes sense, bringing him in like add some experience to the team. This is a
yeah,
really
no.
young team.
You know what
Remember
it
this
is?
team. Yeah, go ahead.
My bad, bro. But what I was gonna say is that Ivan Perisic, he's a guy that Barca, we lack experience. I'm gonna be honest. We did not lose the UCL to Inter because we're not good enough. I refuse to believe that. Anybody who tells me that, I refuse it. We lost to Inter because we were dumb, we were inexperienced, and I think having Ivan Perisic to see out games, the guy can play wing back, he can play left wing. I'm not gonna lie, he's more useful than Ansu Fati, Pau Victor. He is. But this is my stance on Perisic. I'm only accepting it. I'm only accepting the transfer if Nico Williams comes first. Perisic needs to be the last transfer that happens because I know my fan base. There's gonna be a crash out, and a lot of them are gonna be mad. A lot of them on Twitter, they're gonna say Deco out, just like how they did Ter Stegen out. We need to get Nico Williams first before we even pursue Ivan Perisic. That's my take
Mhm.
on it. But he will help. Veteran presence. The guy doesn't have no intentions probably to start, and Hansi Flick knows him. So I do accept it. I would accept the transfer on a free. So, but listen, I do want to talk to my guy Dali FC. Right? He said, I just don't get to the point. I just don't get to the point. Both Olmo and Nico in back-to-back years, if one's on the bench, they are they going to be even to register Nico one-time payment of 50 million like they got the bag like that? I'm not going to lie, I don't think we have the bag. Once again, I always use the phrase, I think Barca, bro, I think we're semi-broke. Listen, we're the club Barca volume that we're on vacation, but we owe like 5 guys money. I'm not going to lie. That's how we move. But I do think Jan Laporta, this is my thing, Dali. I'm going to be real. We always find a way, bro. We always find a way. Jan Laporta legitimately had Dani Olmo unregistered twice, and I was doing emergency meetings, and guess what? The guy paid like 80%.
My issue with this take is simply this. It's just like, you're acting like Dani Olmo started every single game last season, which he really didn't. Like in some of the games that he started, he didn't play the whole game. So this isn't the case of, Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo, all 3 left wingers trying to find a roster spot that all starting for Real Madrid. This is a different animal, bro. This is what's that?
No. My take on it is that I'm gonna be honest. Remember the games that Dani Olmo came off the bench, like Celta Vigo, bro? There was numerous games. There was like 5 or 6 games that Dani Olmo legitimately he came off the bench and he had a super positive impact. So I don't mind if Dani Olmo is like a rotational starter. Like it doesn't hurt me.
But and to my point, it's like, okay, I'm not even saying that Olmo it's not going to start. Like as I told you, to me, the best case scenario. And I don't know if Barcelona is probably not going to do this, Dali, but if you're listening, but Barcelona, what they should do is, we were talking about this. Barcelona should have Rafinha as a 9 who can play as a false 9 really great. He can play the 10. He can have Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal on the right, and Dani Olmo can still start at the 10, and Rafinha as a false 9 will be just insane for this team. But will Barcelona do it? That's the question. We don't
know yet, bro. To be honest, guys, I mean, listen, you already know. If some big breaking news happens and there's a bunch of it, I will be going live right away or doing a video at least if I'm busy. But guys, I do want to say, the last topic that we're going to talk about, right? And this is probably going to be controversial because sales are always harder to talk about. It's always more uncomfortable than talking about transfers because transfers, it's all fantasy, right? Everybody loves to talk about what could happen. And it's always good. But I do want to speak about a couple players that Barcelona might cash out on. And I'm not talking about Ansu. I'm not talking about even guys like Pau Victor or Hector Ford because I expect all of those guys to go out on loan. But I do want to talk about Ronald Araujo, right? Because apparently Ronald Araujo, Sport have confirmed, right? Like they've said they're not super reliable, but Sport has said, and they've came out and they said Ronald Araujo between July 1st and July 15th, within 2 weeks, only for 2 weeks, Ronald Araujo's release clause will drop to 60 million euros. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of suspect. I don't know why that the release clause is just dropping for 2 weeks. I don't know why it's like a bargain. Like, I'm going to be real with you guys. Why is my club moving like there's a Black Friday sale? Like, no, bro. Why? The release clause should stay, bro. There's no discount aisle, bro. I don't know why we have some type of Black Friday for 2 weeks going on. But what I will say is that, in my opinion, you already know my thoughts. I'm saying Ronald Araujo 1 more year. In my opinion, I think that Ronald Araujo, as much as people say, yo, he cost us versus PSG, he cost us versus, remember, Inter Milan a bit. In my opinion, it was a collective mistake. But I do say Ronald Araujo, I would give him 1 more year still. He's the only center back with pace and power. I really believe that. And I think that he's different than Cabarsi. He's different than Christensen. He's different from Inigo Martinez. And he didn't have a preseason, to be fair to him. I think that genuinely give Ronald Araujo some time to work with Hansi Flick. And I really believe, yo, who knows? If he can't adapt this season, he can go. I will say it too. But I don't know if I'm being stubborn. Guys, in the chat, let me know down below right now. Would you guys cash out Ronald Araujo for 60 million? Would you take that? Because for me, I don't know if I'm stubborn, guys, but I still believe when I'm seeing the whole defense was horrible the last 2 months of the season, I'm saying Ronald Araujo is not all his fault. I think that Barcelona need to keep him for 1 more year because, yo, you know, say it. Uncomfortable conversation needs to be had. Guys, Gerard Martin cost us more against Inter Milan than Ronald Araujo. Ronald Araujo was not getting cooked in the first leg. He didn't even play that much. I don't know if he even played, right? And the message from many fans was, hey, if Araujo starts in the second leg, we will do a lot better. And then guess what? In the second leg, Gerard Martin, great offensive performance, but he got cooked. Cabarsi conceded a penalty. One of my favorite players. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love Dani Olmo. I love me for some Dani Olmo. I know some fans don't like him. Brother, he had a grave mistake. Dani Olmo had a horrible turnover against Inter Milan. And guess what? They all got away with no criticism. It was just Ronald Araujo. And that's why I say sometimes he is the popular scapegoat. And in my opinion, I'm keeping him for one more year. If he doesn't adapt, then I'm not going to lie, I would sell at that point. But what are you saying about Ronald Araujo potentially leaving the club for 60 million? What are you saying about it?
I think it would be a mistake if Barcelona gets rid of him. Not only because apparently Deco wants to get rid of Christensen, and Christensen, to me, Christensen he needs to stay. Yes. Barcelona cannot find a player like Christensen on the free market for the kind of price that we got Christensen, right? So in my opinion, I think that Ronald Araujo gets a lot of criticism basically for no reason. I know he has moments, right, where he made mistakes. There's the red card for the UEFA Champions League, and it's frustrating that it keeps happening in the Champions League. But guys, we have to be patient with players sometimes. Let me ask you guys something. How would you feel if Araujo goes to Juventus next season, or he goes to AC Milan next season, and he goes and balls out? What's going to happen and say, oh, he could have had this season for us. He could have had this kind of season for us. And wow, where was our Araujo when he was playing for us? Araujo, guys, hasn't really had a full season with Barcelona for like, I can't even remember. When with Xavi was here, maybe, but yes. With Hansi Flick, he didn't get any chance to get into a rhythm.
That's exactly what I said. I said he didn't get a full preseason where Cabarsi and Nico, it makes sense why they're the two guys who understand the high line the best, because they had the full preseason. It's not a joke. Preseason, Hansi Flick legit. And I hope Araujo, especially the defenders, because it matters most with the defenders, right? Attackers, you can just put them in. It doesn't really matter. Press hard. But the defenders, I hope Araujo is definitely fit for preseason so he can understand the high line. But what I do want to say with this comment by John, I wouldn't accept it for Rafa Leao, because I think that why are they willing to get rid of Leao? That by that logic, and I know Leao, he doesn't really run. The guy extremely talented. I'm not completely sold on Leao. Guys in the chat, do you guys disagree? Would you take a swap deal Araujo for Leao? In my opinion, no. I'm taking Nico Williams, and I'm keeping Ronald Araujo. And you said Christensen? Real quick before you go, right? I think Christensen must stay too. I know people are saying, but who are you selling? I'm selling somebody else, bro. I would actually sell a different player than I would, bro. I'm not going to lie, Barcelona, our squad is good. I'm trying to keep Araujo. I'm trying to keep Christensen. I'm going to be real with you. But what do you say?
If we are so impatient with Araujo, how are we going to have the patience for a player like Leao? I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Yeah, dude, Leao, it's a player you need patience. Like one game, he'll come in and nobody can stop him. Another game, he comes in and he can't even dribble, dude. Like you can't even dribble past one guy, let alone trying to make a play. And that's my issue with Leao. He's incredibly inconsistent. And this fan base, he's not even going to last 2 months, bro, before they're already regretting it. This is why the Nico Williams, you want to go out and spend the money on Nico Williams, because at least with Nico, you know what you're getting day in and day out. Right. It's super consistent. That's my thing with this Leao Araujo swap. I still think that Araujo can give me more defensively than Leao can give me offensively. I know some people may disagree, maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I do. Whoa. I've seen Leao, dude. I've seen enough of him.
Barcelona, this is the thing, bro. People are so completely like, you know what it is? Our fan base had so much time for Ousmane Dembele. Remember, I was legitimately so patient with Ousmane Dembele. And finally, under Xavi, the last 2 seasons, he actually proved somewhat of his worth, right? Because he was worth a lot. But it's like, Ronald Araujo, are we really going to quit? In my opinion, I'm going to just say it. I don't care if I get cooked for it. Ronald Araujo was our best player. He was the best player on the team when we won that La Liga with Xavi Hernandez. It was not Ter Stegen, in my opinion, because Araujo was the best game in, game out, saving us every single time. There was no Lamine. Pedri was in and out the team, right? Rafinha was inconsistent. Lewandowski was only good in the first half. Ronald Araujo was the only guy who – the whole season was phenomenal. under Xavi Hernandez and won us the La Liga. I'm not selling him. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude,
I want him to adapt.
this is the perfect example. You brought up an interesting point here because we were not patient with Dembele. And take a look at the kind of season that he had this year, bro. That if that doesn't tell you that we need to be more patient with players, we need to be more patient in general and not be so reactionary. Somebody here in the comments said this fan base is really reactionary, and it's really true. And honestly, like I disagree. I hated that Dembele left the club when he did at the moment that he did. I had no idea what Lamine Yamal would be the type of player that he became, and I'm happy that we didn't miss a single day of not having Dembele. But I saw his abilities. Dembele was a player that was always great. Like, he was also inconsistent, but he never really found his rhythm. He never really had a coach that believed in him, that told him what to do the way that Luis Enrique was able to do. And honestly, it just goes to show you how much patience you should have with certain players, and Araujo is no different.
Yeah, no, real talk, bro. Christensen, listen, in my opinion, I'm keeping him to John. I'm not saying I would sell Christensen. In my opinion, if there's a way to keep Araujo and Christensen, I would do so because the defense is what matters. Our offense, even if we don't get Nico, our offense was phenomenal last season. It was. That's the truth. But our defense was the Achilles heel that we must improve. And I have seen the Argentine center back legitimately just 2 hours ago. I don't know if we get him, but we will see if the advancement happened. And yeah, you're saying sell Casado to maybe Chelsea for Nico Williams. This is my thing, bro. I think that Casado, Gavi, even Fermin Lopez, even some people will throw in Dani Olmo. These four midfielders, I would probably keep them. If I do sell one, it would probably have to be Gavi or Casado. I'm not going to lie to you. But ideally, I would like to keep all of them. If we can get a fee for Pau Victor, if we can get a fee for Hector Fort, the guys who legitimately had no game time, I'd rather do that first. But we'll see. We'll see if Barca get desperate to sell. But I do want to move on to the last topic, right? And this is a guy that I'm sad, guys. I'm going to be real. I'm sad that it didn't work out for Pablo Torre at Barcelona because it looks like Sevilla, they want to sign Pablo Torre. Barcelona, I think they're hesitant between basically a loan deal and basically just a permanent deal where the club would get the player, but there's going to be a buyback clause. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that maybe Sevilla or maybe a bigger club member, Porto, was in for him in the winter. I think Pablo Torre is going to leave Barcelona. I think on a permanent, I'm going to guess that. And I think there's going to be a buyback clause. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know how you feel about Pablo Torre. One of my favorite players in the squad. Guys, my favorite players are Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Pablo Torre, Dani Olmo. I'll tell you guys right now, those four guys, I have a different feeling with those guys. I legitimately love to watch them play football, and I'm sad that it's not going to work out. But what are you saying about Pablo Torre probably leaving Barcelona? What are you saying about it, man?
Dude, I totally agree with you. Pablo Torre is an incredible player. He's fantastic. He's clinical. His control on the ball, his ability to create in the box, this space. I mean, anything you can think of. Every time he got a chance, he had something to show Hansi Flick for. I don't know why he didn't get more chances, but it seems like to me like this is a player that we could brought into a rotation. Actually, when Olmo got injured mid-season, I was like, man, I'm so happy because we're going to be able to see more of Pablo Torre. We're going to be able to see more that he can do. I wanted to see this kid play for Barca, start a game, and watch him for a full match. I just seemed that I was never able to do that. And the one time he was going to start, he got injured. But I don't know why Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick is a kind of coach that likes to trust his players, likes to know what he gets from his players, and it's hard to earn his trust. But when you earn his trust, he'll stick with you, and it's kind of the reasons why these younger players don't get the same playing time. Because even when Ansu Fati coming in when he came in, he looked okay, and we were all wondering why hasn't he gotten more playing time. It's because that's the kind of coach that Hansi Flick is. He likes his guys. He knows what he gets from them, and that's kind of what's happened to Pablo Torre, unfortunately.
And you know what? I'm gonna just say this right now, bro. Pablo Torre, you know why I'm so sad for him this season? Unfortunately, that he's going to leave the football club because he was the one guy out of Pau, Victor, Ansu Fati, all of the guys, Hector Fort, that those three guys, you could say, yo, they didn't take their opportunity. And you know, Hansi Flick was somewhat right to be hesitant. Pablo Torre, this guy was balling out. When he was given the opportunities, this guy legitimately had like 4 stellar games out of like 6. And bro, I'm going to be honest, that's very consistent. If my number 10 can play very good in 4 out of 6 games, this guy was phenomenal against Villarreal. He had one reverse pass to Lewandowski that was legitimately, if that was Pedri, that would have been talked about forever. If that was Lamine Yamal, you're seeing down TikTok on Instagram. It was a beautiful reverse pass to Lewandowski that you only see if you're a top player. I'm going to be honest. Pablo Torre, I'm just sad that this guy didn't get his opportunity at all. Hansi Flick, that's probably one of my only criticism is probably the defensive adaptments and also why didn't Torre get more minutes? Like, I just don't understand it. But listen, I'm going to be honest. At the end of the day, I hope Barca do not loan him out because we need the money. So I don't like too many loans. I want some of these guys. I don't think Hector Fort, truly, I don't think he's going to have a future at Barca. I don't think Torre, under Hansi Flick, will have a future with Olmo and Fermin over here. I don't think that even Ansu Fati has a future anymore if I were to guess. So I would like Pablo Torre to go out on a permanent deal. I think it's the right option for Barca. Trying to get Nico, if they're trying to get Grimaldo, potentially if they're trying to get these players. But what are you saying about it?
And that's what I was going to end up. My thought was that I love the fact that he can go to another club and just ball out. I have no doubt that he can do a lot for a team like Sevilla. He can do a lot for a team like Villarreal. I think a team like even a team like maybe Real Sociedad. I think these teams have an incredible group around him. He can really ball out, man. I think we need to insert the Nico pass deal on a player like Pablo Torre because I have no doubt that this player is going to be a baller in a 2 to 3 years. He's going to be a fantastic player because quite frankly, he already is. He just needs somebody that can trust him and somebody can start him more minutes.
You know what it is? He's not a bad player. How come Porto, who's in the UCL like every year, every other year at least, if Porto want him to be one of their main players, you think this guy is bad? Like, I'm going to be honest. Pablo Torre, I'll say it right now. He's a guy that he might be one of the only guys on this team that is a youngster that leaves Barca. And I could genuinely see him being to like a Cesc Fabregas, not maybe Fabregas, but he could be a Sanchez, make a career somewhere else.
He's like a Dani Olmo 2.0, to be honest with you.
He's like really, a smaller Dani Olmo.
He's really clinical. He's really clinical, really good in space. He knows how to attack. He knows how to find the Lewandowskis. He knows how to find the Rafinhas. He's very, very smart.
And you know what? Actually, I just thought about it. I hope he goes to Porto because I'm not going to lie. I don't really rate the Portuguese league too high. The guys Samu and Pablo Torre, I think they could absolutely cook. And I want to see Pablo Torre in UCL nights, Europa League nights. But listen, I mean, guys, that's it for me, right? That's it for today. Big up Barca Volume. Guys, the link is in the title for Barca Volume. Make sure to subscribe to my brother because, listen, we're going to be here every single week. Barca Talk Tuesdays. And you know what's nice? The people keep showing up for this show specifically. So, yo, big up to you guys. Smash the like if you're watching on the playback. Subscribe to Barca Volume. Subscribe to BarcaReacts. Guys, listen. We're going to be live probably in the next coming days, 1 or 2. Hey, if I'm not live tomorrow, I'm going to be live on Thursday. And the other day that I'm not live, there will be a video. So just stay tuned, right?
Real quick, Jonas, I want to ask you before we go, there's still a few people here. 160 million euros for Rafinha, bro. What are you saying?
Hey, listen.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Hey, guys, on that note, the stream has to end. You know, I'm just kidding. You know, hey, you know what I would say? Rafinha for 160. Brother, I think I have to take it, but listen, I'll probably take it.
I'll be honest. Okay, so Rafinha is valued at around 90. If somebody comes in and say, "I'll give you 90," I think his face value.
I'll take it.
I'm not taking it. At his face value, I'm not taking it. So if somebody was to come here, okay, if I have a, let's say I have the most unique Ferrari in my garage, right? And it's value at 1 million. And if somebody comes in and say, I want to buy your Ferrari for 1 million, that's like, why would I want to sell my Ferrari that I love for 1 million? You
So
got to
what? You
give me
want
an
Rafinha?
offer. You got to give me an offer that I can't refuse. So if somebody was to give me 90 for Rafinha, if that's his face value, I'm saying no, because he works here. He's already a proven player. He'll work his heart out. But once somebody tells me that they're willing to unload the bank for 160 million euros, you know how many problems that's solving? Rafinha's stock is never going to be higher. And we never have the ability to sell the players that we love and the players that play great for Barca. We never know how to sell them. If somebody gives me 160, I think that's an offer that I can't refuse, even if
Now
it's
you know
Rafinha,
what?
one of my favorite players for the team.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm doing it, and I'm buying Julian Alvarez in the same summer. I'm not buying nobody. I'm buying Julian Alvarez right now. I'm running Dani Olmo at the 10, and we get the striker that we need. That is what I would do. And listen, I'm not gonna be emotional, but remember Rafinha before Hansi Flick. He's a great player, right? Before he was a good player. Right now, he's a
Yeah.
great player, right? In my opinion, ideally, I would keep him for 2 more years as long as Hansi Flick stays. And then I'll probably cash out right when Hansi Flick leaves. That's probably what I'll do. The game is ruthless. I love Rafinha. But hey, you offered me 150. You asked me the question. But guys, that is actually it from us. Barcelona, that's why I like to bring this brother on, because the guy has ideas. He asked me stuff last time. Would you sell for me? That's why he's on the channel, because he's interesting. And he's energetic too. But guys, that's it for me, right? We'll be back here next week, and I'll be live more, in the coming days. I'll see y'all soon. Type Visca Barca if you made it this far in the playback chat down below in the comments. That's it. Peace. Visca Barca.